All right, so I feel like there's a lot of subjects that I want to talk on, and it's not just talk, but it's my experiences and different stories and different viewpoints. But of course, I feel I needed. I got my own life to take care of. Got things I need to do in my own life that if I don't get in place, then what is the point of me being online trying to upload videos about things I'm not doing in my own life? So I think the first thing I wanted to talk about that is very important to me is accountability, because I was going to speak about age, I was going to speak about gender. There were so many things I was going to talk about, but basically I wanted to talk about accountability because I feel like it's the biggest point that gets missed in today's society. And even myself, like, I live on my own. I i have to take care of everything myself, my mentality, my physical health, let's say mental health, physical health, emotional health, um, and spiritual health. If I don't take care of those things, and obviously the physical environment that you live in, you got to take care of it. And accountability is a hard subject to broach because it ties into so many things. But if you type on the internet and you say, oh, I'm looking for some information or some ideas, you always have things that are biased to that person. So, but we all know, like, ultimate truths. Like, there has to be accountability. Like, if you're not accountable, you're not responsible, then like everything can be a cop out. Like, you can say like, I want to stop drinking, and then suddenly you're just like drinking every weekend, right? But say you're a pregnant mother and you have to stop drinking, like it's gonna affect the health of your baby. You have to make yourself accountable. So, because other people, because we live in this like society where like everything's a like, nobody's being real with each other, because then you're not liked, and it's a big push to being fake almost. And I've noticed in my life, like the moment I go against someone else's opinion and give my own version of perception, which is I'm entitled to. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own view, as long as it's not extreme. Sometimes you see like the polarity of society or opinions. Everything's at an extremity. So back to my other point is that people, they get offended, and then it ruins the relationship between the people, when in fact you need to be real with each other. You need to speak candidly and take accountability on your part. And I always, whenever I have any disagreements or anything like that, I look at myself and say, okay, where and what could I have done different? I said different. I mean, in hindsight, we all look back and we say, okay, I should have done this, I should have said that, and you can only correct it in the future. So you can't, you know, always be heavily judgmental on each person, because yourself, you have to, you know, look at yourself. And a lot of times with other people, they're not going to change unless they want to change for themselves. And for me, it's something that I notice: if someone keeps pushing for someone to see how they see or what they want, they're not taking accountability. They're passing blame. They're living in an illusion. And you have to step back from those people and let those people. It's like I've been watching this thing called Super Nanny, and there's a thing called timeouts, and I never had timeouts as a kid. I got smacked basically. If I got timed out, it was like locked out, and and that was my timeout. But then I would just like cause havoc, so then I'd get smacked again. So I always have the reinforcement of like, you do bad, smack, you know. And actually, it did me good, like in those days. So it's hard to, you know, be hard on parents and say, oh, you shouldn't smack your kids and do this and this, because we live in a different society now, so everything's more different in different cultures, you know. So um, these timeouts, I kind of like them. I mean, I went to a Catholic school, and if you did anything wrong, you would spend an hour or your whole lunch break like standing facing a wall, like just looking at it. And I think with accountability, what I've come to realize is with a lot of people, including myself, you should go and seek someone to talk to. Like, there's no way around that. You should go, especially in these times where people are like indoors all the time and they're worried about their mental health. They should have someone to talk to that's not going to judge them and like allow them to have the space and freedom to talk. Now, if you don't have that money and the resources, what do you do? And for me, I didn't have that. I didn't have the money, didn't have the resources. Um, my friends were on the same level as me, or even worse, in their development or their conditioning. So I was like, okay, I gotta, I was always looking for a father figure. I was looking for someone, to, my Mr. Miyagi to like, Daniel son, you need to do this and you need to do that. Never had it. So I always said, like, when I get older, I want to be that guy. I want to be able to guide people and help people. So what I'm saying is that that's the point of accountability. And I became more accountable for my own self. But what I did was I started to read more books on how to develop myself. And sometimes I would read it and I have an assessment that the knowledge wasn't transferable into life, and it started to like contradict my life. So anytime you get a contradiction, you feel a contradiction, or you see something is too much of a bias, just put it into action, or like the proof is in the pudding. Like, if, as my favorite saying is, the proof is in the pudding. If it's not true to the words and it contradicts it, whether it's religion, whether it's culture, whether it's age, someone's older than you saying like you should do this and you do it and you're like isn't right, or you feel your intuition. A lot of females or like males with a female side, you have this great intuition. It's a great female quality. And as a guy, you block it because you're just like headstrong, and not all guys, because I said like depends how close you are to the, let's say, male and feminine scale. Closer you are to female, the more intuition you have. And I've had to work on my intuition and my feelings, but I was always like, no, this isn't right, ethically, morally, using logic. But like when in my gut feeling, I was like, yeah, this isn't right. So then I would trust in that over the person's words, or like the authoritative person around me. And sometimes it's hard because some people they've been pushed out of society, and you think like, oh, that's because they're not doing as well, and I'm not going to trust in the person's opinion. And there's other people you see and you say, oh, like they're doing really well for themselves, like they're selling the dream of what the capitalist or like the system wants to create. So look at the house they're living in, look at the cars they got, look at the attraction they've got, and the pull and the likes and the popularity. So then we then think, oh, that person, whether they're a celebrity, an athlete, or whatever they do, we think, oh, like we can trust them what they're saying. But the people that are like out of their minds on drugs and like completely removed from reality, and we're like, man, that guy's like all over the place. But sometimes they've been broken by society, but what they're actually saying is actually amazing. Like, you can listen to some of what Van Gogh was saying back in the day and be like, wow, he really was deep. He's like profound. He's a philosopher. He's got his mind in the right place. He's hard in the right place. But some people you listen to and you're like, no, their agenda or their influence isn't right, and they're not being accountable. They're just speaking on what sells and what gets people to like them. And that's why I just cut myself off from Instagram, and like I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. And Facebook, like, it's private, and I have like nobody on there. It just was, I was trying to get an apartment that I used it for, and I'd rather be one to one talking to people. But when I thought about YouTube, I was like, this is a platform where it's free for the moment for anybody to share their stories, same as what Instagram was. It is becoming contrived. It's becoming like a bit TikToky with these like little instant videos, and like you can go down a rabbit hole of bullshit and end up watching something you're like, what am I watching? Why am I watching this? And you got to be accountable again and be like, this isn't healthy. I don't want to do this. It's just like another drug. It's like another coping mechanism, and it's not good. So accountability for me is like taking charge of your own life. Like stopping contradictions, living your life to your true purpose and who you are. It doesn't have to be a material, like financial or like um, status thing. It can just be on a personal level. Like I'm contemplating, and I don't, you know, trying to make myself accountable for it because I was like, God, it's gonna be tough again, like to go and deliver food. And I've done like amazing jobs, and in society's eyes, it's like, why are you doing that? Like, but I'm like, I'm not afraid of hard work, and in times of crisis or like adversity, I feel like the strongest people come out and show themselves because they're opportunistic. They're like, I'm gonna take charge of this. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna deliver food. I got a bicycle, and I'm not working. I don't want to get welfare. I don't want to get money from the government. It's not ideal for me because it doesn't stimulate you as an individual to go get it. So these are the points I'm talking about accountability. There's a lot more I need to talk on this, but just the word accountability is something that I think is we should address and we should think about it